Hey guys, this is a video on how to scale an inverted burpee. Let me start by showing you an inverted burpee, a freestanding inverted burpee, and then we'll talk about, we'll break up the movement like we usually do, talk about points of performance, and then based on those points of performance, decide on scaling options. So, this way, you start here. I like to do candlestick just because of the symmetry of the thing. You don't have to do that. I'll tell you what I mean in a second. So I'm gonna come here, candlestick, up, tuck, freestand, and down. That is one inverted burpee. Beautiful, wonderful movement. Good. So usually the most evident thing and the most obvious thing is the freestanding part, and most people get a little bit hung up on that and say like there's no chance I can get into that. Go right away and assist on the wall, which is an inverted wall, an inverted burpee assisted with the wall, and that is it. But before we get into that, before we jump into the scale options, there's a couple of positions here that I would like you to see that I think are very useful and very foundational of the inverted burpee, and that if you don't pay attention to them, will go unnoticed. So the first position is going to be a narrow stance squat, right? That position of the bottom. If you don't have a very low narrow stance squat and can come up out of it easily, the roll up is gonna be very challenging. So that's one of the foundational positions. And the other position is a tuck handstand hold, which involves what we call a frog jump. So this is something that most athletes will not practice, and it's very useful when you're developing handstand. And so you're gonna come here and frog jump, hold, tuck, and then back down, right? And this will teach your athletes how to properly load the shoulders with the hips on top of it. You know, like we're always talking about hand, shoulder, hip alignment in a handstand, and we don't know how to get there because we get so crushed, for lack of a better word, by the wall that we just throw ourselves there and there's never alignment, right? And so this froggy jump is gonna help you with that. So when you're doing an inverted burpee, those two positions, the handstand tuck hold and the narrow stance squat, are gonna be there. They're foundational. They're the two positions, and those two positions are the most challenging ones for most people. So in my scaling, I will try to prioritize those two, right? And so let's talk about first the roll part, the coming out of the squat, and then we'll talk about the handstand. Because some people will struggle in one part and not on the other, and so on, and you can always like mix and match, right? So for the roll, as I said, I like the candlestick. That's an aesthetic thing. You don't need your athletes to do that, but I'll tell you why I think it's a good advantage. So focus first when you're warming up and when you're teaching this movement. Focus first on how controlled can your athlete go from here to the roll, right? If they cannot handle that very well, make that their priority of their movement, the negative, right? If they can, then what we're going to do is go right into that roll, candlestick, and then come here before they even stand. Why do I like the candlestick? Because then when you bring the legs down, you can bring the heels to your butt. We will set you up properly for the squat position, but again, that's an aesthetic thing, don't worry about it. So now let's talk about the roll up. So I'm gonna come here, bring the legs aggressive, and make my athlete forget about the standing up part and just see if they can go from even here to just here, right? That is gonna be very challenging for most, and tell your athlete that make the experiment of them going into a narrow squat stance, because they will think that this movement is very easy and they might get very frustrated really fast. And if you show them like, hey, you cannot do a very good narrow squat stance yet, so it's naturally that coming out of this roll, even though it looks easy for Cindy who's next to me, it might not be very easy for you, right? And so practice with your athletes. The easier assist here and the easier scale is to let them use their hands, but minimally, right? So I'm gonna be here, hands down, push a little, just a little, and try to make them really find that heels close to the butt, squat position. Don't worry about the up yet. Then you make them stand up, but that's not a problem. So the easier scale there is gonna be to push with the arms and look for that close heel position. Press aggressively up. Whoops! Let me fix my camera. There you go. Let's see. Okay, that should be fine. So that is gonna be very challenging for most athletes. So if you're gonna have inverted burpees in a workout, let that be the inverted burpee. Just this, right? Candlestick, roll to stand up. It's gonna destroy them. It's gonna be very hard and totally fine if they use their hands, but make sure that the use is minimal and that they practice it a lot and that they find that narrow stance squat position. The feet don't have to be together, right? But try to let them find that. There's a variation here that you will see most people naturally going towards to, and it's to cross the legs, right? So if they'll come here and they will cross the legs and come up, that kind of defeats the purpose of the thing, in the sense that you'll be able to get away with your lack of flexibility, so you're not gonna be practicing that. So it's cool if your athlete really needs to get the win that day, but explain them. Good, so that's the first part, and those are all possibilities, and for athletes, older athletes and athletes that are very, very limited in range of motion and in strength, there it's totally fine if you just let them go from here and very slowly shift your weight, and that be the exercise. Good. Good. Next part is the frog jump into a handstand. So this is going to be super challenging for you as a coach and for your athletes. Just going here and teaching your athlete how to hold that position and how to do a frog jump there. It's gonna be very challenging. Most of them are not gonna be able to do that, and what you see is that for most of them, there's gonna be the shoulders are gonna travel forward, right? So instead of loading the hips, the shoulders travel forward, which also happens for them on the wall if you look at that, but the walls protect them and let them just throw the hips. So this is gonna, if you find an athlete that is doing that, this is gonna be very productive. So the first thing to do with your athletes in your warm-up is to check if they have a frog jump and if they can actually hold that position, right? If they can find that position. If they can find that position, but they cannot go into a handstand, don't explain them, don't worry about that. It's totally awesome to do an inverted burpee in which you go here, candlestick up, fine, that's one, find that position, that's two, and you tell them that the task is they're gonna try to find some control in that front jump and find a little bit of balance there, and that is it. That is good. That's good enough. That's gonna be a hell of a workout. Good. Athletes that really, most athletes are gonna really just struggle in the air, and that variation is not gonna actually be very good for them. So what you're gonna try to do is try to make them do a frog jump on the wall, in which the cue is slow yourself as much as you can so that the butt gently kisses the wall. That is it, right? And so they can do their inverted burpee using some wall assistance. Right, I'm here, and gently back down. That's one. Gently back down. That's two. That's gonna be awesome. If they want to extend the legs, that's fine. That doesn't add much. What we really want is that control of bringing the hips towards the right place while the arms are in good shape so that everything is aligned, right? That's the main thing. So before letting your athletes just do a normal kick up so that they get the rep, try to get them to do the two-legged frog jump tuck. Good, if that becomes impossible, your athlete is very frustrated, he still or she still wants to get that stand up, that handstand, well, the natural variation there is totally going to be to go here and here. As you see there, the movement loses fluidity, which is a loss. We lose the capacity, the skill aspect of people going from two legs. We lose the talk aspect of it. There's a lot of loss there, and you can't explain that to your athletes because most will just tell you like, that's what I want to do, right? Good. And of course you can, as I said at the beginning, you can mix and match. You'll find people that can do a frog jump or like a frog jump into a tuck hold, but cannot come out of the squat. And so you'll be able to tell them, okay, use your hands for that part and then here. But make sure that in your scaling, you're shooting so that your athletes get two things. First, that narrow stance, bottom of the squat position. Second, that frog jump, that tuck hold, both hands, leading with both feet. Kick up position, right? And then on the third one, which I didn't mention but it's important, is try to have some fluidity so it looks like a burpee, right? Like it's just one movement. That is it. It's a beautiful movement. Give it a try.